Okay, so we just got done with week 14, and I'd say this was another pretty damn great week with a lot going on. The NFL power rankings are all shifting, shit's going down, and without further ado, let's get right into the video, shall we? Oh, fuck! I'd say overall there was a theme this week, and that theme was lose-lose games going down. And this, I mean, I guess it wasn't one of them technically because this was a huge win for the Lions, but casualties were suffered. Brian Branch is done for the year, and this could affect his career too, which is so horrible for them. But Dallas has it worse, because they actually lost this football game. And to be honest with you, the whole game was comeback mode for Dallas. The special teams held them back, and the defense did too, believe it or not. Because turns out trading for Quinnen Williams doesn't help the corners stay with their guys, and when you employ the 6th highest paid corner in football in Deron Bland, and your other guy fucking... Still, we don't know what happened with him, but he's not playing because he, got punched in the face by his girlfriend. That's an issue. But Dallas did make it close. Dak played fine. The offense did more than enough, but they just couldn't get a stop. And Jahmyr Gibbs went beyond nuclear again. It's just a bummer that the Lions got crippled some more because their secondary is just barely hanging on, and now they just lost their best player in the secondary. So, yeah, the Lions are in it for another week, but they need to keep their season alive and run the table. I don't know, man. The Bears look pretty solid again, too. Green Bay keeps winning, so they're going to need the Niners to start losing soon, or else it is over for them. And meanwhile, Tampa Bay is just in the corner like, hey, man, all we got to do is win, one more game, and we're chilling.
Yes! Yeah!
Ugh, if you didn't like this game, then you don't like Ravens football. All right, so I wanted to give Lamar the benefit of the doubt, and I still do to some extent. It's honestly similar to what we saw from Joe Burrow in the past. Remember when he played through that hand injury thing? He was legitimately bad, and it was clear he was injured and not the same player. And like I said, this is kind of happening with Lamar. We know Lamar Jackson historically is an all-time great player, and I won't hear arguments otherwise, okay? He is the 2nd highest career passer rating ever, and is 0.2 behind Rodgers. Anyways, something's off. And in his last 4 games, not only has he been not a superstar, he's been a below average starter. And in his last 4, like I said, he is 16 for 29 with 200 yards per game, throwing 0.25 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a passer rating of 65. That is just not gonna fly, man. But this game was overall very frustrating. Just infuriating on all levels. The Ravens were getting blown out right away. Rodgers reverted back to 2011 form for 1 drive, and this seemed like it was it. This was the end of the Ravens' run, but then they fought back. I mean, Lamar was still not good, but they did get things going, and remember, the Steelers are also not good. And then, when they needed plays most, Lamar did them, which led to the game-deciding play, and this happened.
Fake to Henry on 1st down. Go to the end zone. They've got a touchdown. 1, 2. That will stand. That is definitely
The receiver in the end zone did not survive the ground. It's an incomplete pass.
What do you mean that's a drop? 1, 2 possession touchdown, right? Isn't that how that works? What the fuck even is a catch anymore? I don't understand. And let's also, not talk about the fact that they probably would have won this game anyways, but Mark Andrews had a heroic dive to break up a wide-open DeAndre Hopkins, and they lost. Look, I do think this was a touchdown by Isaiah Likely. I really do, but at the same time, what is this going to change? The fact that Lamar was shit again is just brutal. And the defense allowed near 30 to Aaron Rodgers, who is 1 blood donation away from looking like the fucking chocolate lady from SpongeBob. Come on, Baltimore, your team is ass, dude. This is not the year. The O-line can't block for anything. I've been letting off their line all year. Lamar's not the same. In Pittsburgh, hey, the 9-8 dream is still alive, y'all. Woo!
Sorry.
Well, that'll do it. I mean, I don't think any one sentence summarizes this entire weird-ass season more than what I'm about to say. With Daniel Jones injured, the Colts Super Bowl window is closed. It's over. And if we want to take a step back and look at, the 2 future firsts they now don't have because of the trade for Sauce Gardner, a player who is not playing, mind you, during their must-win season, things get a bit dark. But that's for another time. Anyways, to be honest with you, this game was over in literally the first quarter when our prophet Daniel Dimes went down with a season-ending Achilles injury. It's just... You will be remembered, 2025 Daniel Jones. You will. It's a rough sight for them. But again, like I said, I did understand their thought process for the Sauce trade. You might as well go all in a season where, for some reason, the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens all decided to be bad. But this is the end. You're not a contender anymore. And even worse, the Colts will use this as a scapegoat to say, hey, we'll run it back next year and in 2 years, and we'll be right back to where we were, when in reality, the play calling has stagnated weeks even before Daniel Jones' fibula injury. The league is figuring out how to beat you, and this is a team that has one win since fucking Halloween. But the Jaguars just dominated. Trevor Lawrence has now quietly put together 2 straight very, very good complete games, and shit, I'm starting to buy some Duval stock. That's just never a good decision, but, you know, the run game did its thing. Brian Thomas put on a helmet, so that's good. Trayvon Walker is solid at football. So good shit, Jacksonville. But with Houston rising, you guys are going to need to stay on the gas pedal.
What the hell?
Well, this was just a fun game. It's the same fucking formula with Joe Burrow's teams. I mean, yeah, of course he had 30 plus in a loss, but this one was a bit different. You could argue Burrow's 2 picks just, you know, entirely costed them the game on their own, but I'd say that, you know, if they actually made some fucking plays on defense before, this game would have been different. Allen had an insane 4th down play, and yeah, they were just unstoppable on offense all day long. Turns out, the worst defense in football couldn't stop a top 3 quarterback who's playing like it. So this was just a low-stress, fun, entertaining snow game. I mean, the Bengals season is still over, and yeah, 2 of the best quarterbacks in football were throwing haymakers, and sometimes that's all football needs to be in December, huh? Tampa just fucking beat the worst team in football at home. Going against a backup rookie quarterback, all you have to do is win that game and you, like, clinch the playoffs. Is it that difficult? Let's collect ourselves here, okay? Because to be honest with you, this Tampa team has just been a shit show since the Detroit game. Remember when Baker Mayfield was like the MVP favorite? That legitimately feels like last season at this point, but let's talk about the defense, alright? So, it's not that terrible. I get it. Every Bucs fan wants to break into Todd Bowles' house and take a shit in his sink and swap his milk with, Anyways, the defense for Tampa got shredded, okay? Tyler Shuck played well, barring some rookie mistakes, but there's some bigger issues with this defense. They're getting destroyed on splash plays. They give up the 4th most splash zone plays in football, which is not okay. But also, Baker deserves a lot of criticism. I mean, he's been rough lately. I get it, this game was in the rain, but Tyler Shuck did outplay him, and I'm sorry, an inefficient 122 yards with a pick in a must-win game is not acceptable. And yes, I do hold Baker Mayfield to higher standards than Tyler fucking Shuck. So, what are we doing here? I mean, what is the plan? Is this core good enough to do anything? No, it's not even close. And meanwhile, while the rest of the NFC is eating each other's pancreases alive, you're just trying to sneak into the playoffs only to get bitched at home by like Seattle or the Niners by 40 points. Just please be better. I miss Fun Baker. Maybe Mike Evans and Tristan Wirfs can save your season, though. Who knows at this point? This is why football is so funny sometimes, bro. Like, what do you mean this rookie quarterback game in the snow between the Browns and fucking 1-win Tennessee Titans was a near 40-40 shootout? I'm so confused, but wow, man. This is how every tank bowl should be. I don't know what the fuck was going on all day. I did not see Tony Pollard's breakout game coming versus the best run defense in the NFL, but alright, I guess. However, the story of the game wasn't the Titans and Cam Ward, but Shedeur Sanders. He looked great out there. He had like 1 bad throw, but besides that, near 400 total yards and 4 touchdowns is crazy. This is a 5th-round rookie quarterback. 5th-round rookie QBs do not do that. Ever. Remember years ago when Purdy went for like 202 touchdowns in a game and people lost their mind? And honestly, rightfully so. It's just a shame because I've never seen more toxic discourse around a quarterback ever than Shedeur. It's crazy. I mean, people still aren't just being happy for the guy because everyone's like, no, he didn't even outplay Cam because advanced stat, blah, 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 yards after catch, Cam Ward has no help, and like, just stop. We can be happy for multiple people. These are just a bunch of grown men throwing balls around. Please, just be entertained sometimes. And at the end of the game, though, Kevin Stefanski saw the greater vision. And I don't know what the fuck this was. I have no idea, but the Browns won the Tank Bowl, and fuck yeah, Tennessee! Woo! Go get us that #1 pick, boys. Good shit. We need one more win out of you. Just one more. Well, this game was going to be pretty interesting in my head. Like, the Falcons' shenanigans were always going to happen. It was just a pathetic first half performance from them. But I wanted to see how Sam Darnold would respond to the Falcons' pressure. And the first half was a disaster. The Falcons' defense was obliterating Sam Darnold, but in the second half, they locked in. And once Rashid Shaheed scored the kickoff touchdown, the game was over. And look, dude, let me just talk about Seattle for another second. Nicky Minwari is just an absolute demon. It's crazy. This dude is going to be a fucking future Hall of Famer again. The Seahawks just got another one, but why is Raheem Morris employed? I understand this is Seattle. They've allowed 9 points in the last 2 games. They're fucking amazing, but like, you can't keep coaching like this. You simply can't. Let me save some energy for the future, okay? He needs to be fired. That's all I'll say. Well, somehow the Miami Dolphins have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs, and this game was just the biggest blowout of the season because right away Tyrod Taylor got hurt, and in came Brady Cook, who, I mean, you just can tell by his name he's a terrible fucking quarterback, and this game was rough. I don't know what else to say, man. I'm not putting any stock into the Dolphins just yet. Tua was horrendous last week, and nobody cared because they won. And they keep winning because they're playing shit teams, and I don't know, dude. We'll see. I guess there's a world where they make the playoffs, but this is still not a very good team at all. Don't forget they traded away Jalen Phillips. If they were trying to win, they would not have done that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And speaking of blowouts, this was probably like the quickest game of the entire season, dude. I mean, the Vikings had a good bounce back game overall. It's still insane that in 2 weeks, 2 straight weeks of playing for a full football game each, Justin Jefferson has 15 yards. Yeah, I'm not saying that because of my fantasy team. That has nothing to do with it. But this was just a horrible game for the Commanders. Jaden Daniels got hurt again after they shockingly rushed out their injured quarterback. I've never seen that before. Shocking. And Zach Ertz's career also just ended, so prayers up for the boy. But yeah, this game was an absolute beatdown. But good for J.J. McCarthy, though. A 130 passer rating is solid. Good for him. I'm gonna shove a pipe in my ass if I have to see Geno Smith starting for one more game. I mean, what is the point? Give me one quantifiable reason for why he should be employed by this organization that claims to be running a professional sports team. Look, man, the fact is we're not even looked at as a fucking real franchise anymore. The Browns game really hurt. It really did. Just reading Browns fans' reactions from the game, and I know I said it back then, but Browns fans were like, it's the Raiders, so whatever. And the same thing happened again. Broncos fans are like, you know, it's the Raiders. Who even cares? We gotta play better. I don't have the energy anymore. And I say that every week, and I'm back here screaming because deep down I do care a little bit. But let me just say one more thing, because why the fuck did we not use a late 4th rounder on Shedeur Sanders again? I mean, thank God we have Tonka Hemingway, who has recorded 1 assisted tackle this season, while Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers have both combined to start 1 game. Meanwhile, a projected first-round quarterback talent just went for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And did I mention he kicked our ass too? And you can't even say it's the Titans, because Geno had 170 yards and a pick versus Tennessee. I'm just going to be right back. I'm going to go inject a gallon of lighter fluid into my ball sack. See ya. This is just another installment of me not even talking about the Cardinals, and out of absolute protest for this horrendous product they're putting on the field, I'm not going to discuss this game. The Rams won. That's what happened. Hey, hear me out, Chicago fans. I know you lost, but everyone expected you to lose. But you were right there. I mean, you were hanging with one of the NFL's best, to the point where the Bears are actually, like, not frauds to me anymore. And they battled right there all game long. And this was a good Jordan Love game, too. And I just love that the identity of this team is very clear. This is a Monangai Swift punishing run game led by a great offensive line that is going to win the trenches battle. And Chicago probably wins this game like 3 or 4 times out of 10. 33 minutes of time of possession is also great, and you know, there's just a lot of positives here. Caleb needs to be better though. If you're gonna beat a top 5 team in the playoffs, he just needs to be. Because, yeah, the difference in this game was Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams. Caleb made amazing plays at times, but Jordan was just way more consistent on a play-to-play basis, and the Packers outlasted them. The better team won. The Bears know what they need to work on. Defending the deep ball is an issue. Getting healthier, especially at linebacker with Edmonds. Caleb needs to be more consistent, and, you know, maybe, just maybe, they can make a deep run. But man, hell of a game from the Packers. And a Rams-Packers NFC Championship game would feed families.
I'm so sorry. I failed you.
Wow. That's gonna do it. The Kansas City Chiefs are gonna miss the playoffs. And in what year would this happen other than this one? I just don't get it. And this did just have the vibes of a funeral all the way through, because Houston had, for my money, the most dominant, best defensive performance I've seen in a long time. They were everywhere. Chiefs receivers couldn't even get a yard of separation. The secondary was balling. The pressure was enough to bother Mahomes, and Patrick finished the game with a 19 passer rating, with 0 touchdowns and 3 picks. Insane. This was by far the worst game of his entire career, and it's not close. And I don't even necessarily blame Mahomes. There was just so many plays where there's nowhere to go, everyone's just clamped, and he has to take a sack or force something, and yeah, I don't know, man. This was just insane. The Texans haven't allowed a 200-yard passer since week 3, and even then the Jaguars had 205, so this was just a dominant defensive performance. And, you know, Houston's offense just continues to limp to 20 points. But to be fair, the NFL is nerfing them. I mean, if the Texans had a good offense, this would be an absolute juggernaut of a team. So, an amazing win for Houston, though. Actually great. Like, the best in the past, 2 years. So, great for them. And them and Jacksonville are going to be right there for that top spot in the AFC South. I don't even have words to describe what is happening to the Eagles anymore, man. It's incredible. That's really all I can say. Because it'd be one thing if the Chargers went out there and just played out of their minds and just destroyed the Eagles, but now it's the same shit. This offense isn't going to change. It's just not. The defense did amazing. You know, Justin Herbert played a very, very solid game given his state, but yeah, the Eagles defense kept him in it, and meanwhile, the offense just shat themselves. And to be honest with you, I thought the schemes were fine-ish to just slightly below average in this one, which is pretty solid for the Eagles standards at this point. But there was just so many player mistakes. A.J. Brown had drops, Devonta Smith had drops, Saquon missed holes, offensive line missed blocks, and Jalen Hurts was terrible. Absolutely terrible. So, yeah, the Chargers deserve to win this one via the Eagles just knocking themselves out again. It's fucking crazy, dude. The Cowboys are going to win the division, aren't they? But before we go, you know what time it is. It's time for the TubFrog Discord Awards, where I turn to you, the people, to see what you thought were the best and worst plays and players from Week 14. Without further ado, let's begin, because I asked what you thought the best play was from Week 14, and it ended up going to the game-winning interception on Jalen Hurts, which, you know, there could be some bias here, but to be honest, this was not a very impactful week, and ignore the the error in the first one. But then I asked what you thought the worst play was from Week 14, and it ended up going to Jalen Hurts' interception and then fumble, -4 fantasy points on a play. That hasn't happened since 1978, or maybe ever, so yeah. And then I asked what the best game was from Week 14, and it easily went to Bills vs. Bengals, which is just, I think, going to be like the 10th best game of the year by the end of the season. Nothing crazy, but still, really fun game in the snow. And then I asked who you thought the best player was from Week 14, and it ended up going to the entire Texans defense. I couldn't put one player on there. They were just all so dominant. And then I asked who the worst player was from Week 14. I can't believe it. The worst game of Patrick Mahomes' career is still not enough to win this one, as it ended up going to Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, and yeah, he deserved that wholeheartedly. And then I asked who the best team was from Week 14, and this ended up going to the Seattle Seahawks, which I actually disagree with completely. Again, they played a really bad first half. Honestly, I'd probably give this one to the Texans, but I guess, you know, have it be what you will. And then I asked who the worst team was from Week 14, and it went to the Commanders, which, you know, yeah, when you get shut out 31-0 by JJ McCarthy, you deserve to be here. And then I asked what your favorite Christmas dessert is. This is a very important topic, and it ended up going to sugar cookies. So the people have spoken. But anyways, if you like this video, then subscribe, because I got a lot of videos on the channel just like this one. And if you like this video, then subscribe, because I got a lot of videos on the channel just like this one. And if you like this video, then subscribe, because I got a lot of videos on the channel just like this one. And thanks to all my patrons for pledging tiers. Truly does mean a lot, but anyways, until next time.